Thank you so much, Kathy and Nicole. And what a wonderful segue into today's message. Today our subject is Awaken the Wonder, the Power of Consciousness. Let's affirm it together. Awaken the wonder, the power of consciousness. And those of you who are new to this movement called Unity, Unity is all about consciousness. The teachings, the classes, everything that we do is to help us raise our consciousness. In fact, the symbol, I think it was for the Association of Unity Churches, used to be, was it the association with the globe with the winged globe, the Egyptian symbol. And it was Charles Fillmore's intent for that symbol was it represented the world ascending into a higher level of spiritual consciousness, awareness. So everything that we do here in Unity is centered around consciousness, for consciousness is awareness. And Joel Goldsmith, one of the great teachers, says consciousness is what I am. Who can affirm this with me? Consciousness is what I am. So if anyone asks you your name, tell them my name is what? Say it again. Who are you? What's your name? What are we about? What are we working on? You got it. Because when we get it right in consciousness, then we'll get it right in our world. Quantum physicists tells us that the whole universe was created by thought, by consciousness. And each one of us have our beingness in consciousness. We have the access to the same power that created this universe, and it is the power of our consciousness. And if you want to change anything, any situation, any circumstance, you got to begin in changing it with consciousness. Consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. Together, consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. You got it. Today's message is inspired in part by the writing of my dear friend and brother, and he just doesn't know how close we are right now, Pastor Joel Osteen. You will, you got to speak those things into it. Oh, we're good friends. We're best buddies. 8 undeniable qualities of a winner. And if you don't have this book in your personal library, I encourage you to add it, for it will truly bless you. I invite you to listen closely today, especially those of you who might be facing difficulties, challenges, opportunities of any kind. Maybe you have that dreadful disease called my funds are low. My funds are low. Listen closely. If life has become uninteresting, you're looking for purpose and meaning, a greater sense of who and what you are, a greater sense of enjoyment and fulfillment, listen closely. If your life has become dull, mundane, you've slipped into the mundane routine of just getting by, listen up. I promise you there's a word for you. And if your soul will get ready to receive it, it will bless you. So I invite you now to get the subconscious ready by captivating the attention of the conscious mind by clapping your hands and rubbing them together. Come on, clap them and rub them. Captivate, get the conscious mind out of the way. You see, the conscious mind will try to keep the seed of truth from entering into the soil of the soul. That's the womb of the soul, the subconscious, as, what's the man's name? The seed of the soul. Gary Zukov calls the seed of the soul. Come on, do it again. I'm going to call my name and affirm it's time to wake it up. Jack, it's time to wake it up. Come on, call yourself by name and say, Jack, it's time to wake it up. Now pat your shoulders, tap your shoulders. You want the conscious, subconscious to get this truth? Jack, it's time to wake it up. You got it. We're waking up the universe. And the universe is within us. And when that universe awakens from slumber, then we can see the universe, the power of the universe at work in our life, world, and affairs. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of this movement that we call Unity, gave us ways that we can awaken this wonder in our lives. He says there are 12 functions of the soul, 12 functions of the mind. In every mind, there are 12 disciplines, 12 powers, 12 disciples. And when we spiritualize these 12 disciples, it will help us to live more Christ-like, more God-like in this world. And friends, if there's ever a time that we're called to be more God-like, more Christ-like, I would dare say now is the time. Today is that day. This is the moment, not next week, next year, next decade. It is time for us to wake up and awaken that great splendor of the soul so that the world can become better and different on our watch. It is our watch. And whatever is happening right now on our watch is happening because we have thought into this collective experience. We teach here in Unity that we have the power to change and rechange our individual and collective circumstances, situations, and conditions by changing our mind. And changing our mind begins with changing our thoughts. The late Dr. Johnny Coleman put it this way. She says, I am the thinker who thinks the thought that becomes the thing in my life. Affirm it with me. I'll put on the I am like you're putting on your clothes today. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that becomes the thing in my life. Emma Curtis Hopkins, one of the great teachers of New Thought, the teacher of teachers, she says that the world in which we live is the exact replica of our thoughts. And if you don't like the world in which you live, you don't like your thoughts. And if you want the world to change, you must change your thoughts. Jack Boland, one of the great Unity ministers who founded the Renaissance Unity Church in Warren, Michigan, he says it differently, sort of the same way. He says everything that you're desiring, every good thing that you're desiring. You want a world that works for everyone, a world that looks like harmony and unity, a world that looks like love and peace. That you're desiring is desiring you, and it will happen the moment you say yes to it in consciousness. Friends, these are the great teachers of this movement that helped us to receive and experience the foundation that we have. And I would dare say, if it worked then, it will work now. I dare you to work it. It works if you work it. So we identify these 12 powers in the form of disciples, and each month we talk about a power. This month of July is our month of spiritual understanding. If you place your hand here at the front of your brain, this is your spiritual understanding center. These 12 powers coincide with the 7 chakra centers, for those of you who are familiar with the centers. And the disciple that corresponds with spiritual understanding is Thomas. We know that. Thomas is also called the doubter. He doubted everything. He did not believe. He only believed it when he could see it. And we all have that doubting Thomas within us. We're doubting it. We have to see it. We govern things by our sense nature. It makes sense. I can understand it. I'll believe it if I can see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, smell it for myself. Thomas represents the ability in every man, every mind rather, to make sense of life, to make sense of what's going on in life, to make sense of the world. Thomas is that ability to understand spiritual law, the laws of thought and divine ideas, and how the two connects. So we're here to awaken this Thomas within us and allow this Thomas within us, this spiritualized Thomas, to lead us in awakening the wonder in our lives. It has been said that we are made of stars. Oh, I'll say it again. You and I, we are made of stars. We are made of cosmic dust. Oh, take a deep breath in. Come on, really breathe it in. Some of you got all crossed up, closed up, can't get nothing in. We are made of cosmic dust. Let's make it personal. I am made of cosmic dust. We are made of the cosmic material of the universe. Oh, the great creator of the cosmos used the cosmic material to make us. We are fearfully, as the psalmist says, fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and after the likeness of the creator of the cosmos. Try that one on for size. So when somebody tries to tell you who you are, if it doesn't align with the creator of the cosmos, say, that is not me. Oh, I can't wear that. Reminds me of years ago, and I've shared this before, when Oprah Winfrey had her show. You remember the Oprah Winfrey show? It hasn't been that long ago. Come on. She had her show, and she did this show on mad cow disease. And she says, she made this claim. After finding out about mad cow disease, she says, I will never eat another hamburger in my life. And the moment she said that, because of her clout and her power, her influence, said the beef market dropped like the Titanic. It went all the way down. And the cattlemen, and wherever they were in certain parts of where? Oh, y'all already know. You said it, I didn't. But you said the cattlemen in Texas. That's exactly where it was. So they got so angry with her, and they felt that she was doing this. She was just doing this maliciously, that she had a vendetta against them or something. And said they accused her, and they filed this lawsuit against her. Took her to court, and she took her show. You remember that from Chicago, Illinois, Chi-Town, all the way to Amarillo, Texas. Well, you know who you are. You know that you will carry your good wherever you go. Consciousness is what I am. And your consciousness here will meet you there, because you take you with you wherever you go. And so she got to Amarillo, Texas there, going through trial, and the attorneys were telling her this, and they were saying, oh, you're malicious, you're so vindictive, you're evil, you meant to do us harm, you meant to hurt our prophet. And she was hearing all of this stuff, and what the mass media didn't know, that her mentor at the time, her spiritual guide, was Dr. Maya Angelou, called together 7 spiritual leaders from around the country, and she had them place them in a hotel in a neighboring town, and she didn't want the media to know. And she asked them to just hold 24-hour watch, vigil, during this process. And while they were telling Oprah who she was and who she was not, she had you see, it behooves us to have some good people around us. They were praying and holding and knowing and affirming the truth of her. And it says by the time she got on the stage, the witness stand, and they asked her, what do you have to say? And she says, your words do not fit my tongue nor my identity. For I know who I am, and I am not that of which you say. And because she knew that she was made of cosmic dust, and Oprah, if you're listening, it's time for you to come to Hawaii. Because she knew that she was made of cosmic stuff, the stuff of the universe, she stood in her power, got those lawsuits dismissed, had the governor's wife, the lawyer's wife, the cattleman's wife, everybody showing up trying to get on her show, because she stood on the truth that she was cosmic action, cosmic dust, cosmic material at work here on this earth. And friends, when we stand in the same truth, I know many of us have been taught that we're worm of the dust, those things. Well, even the dust out here is, thank you for this revelation. It's all cosmic. We're all in the cosmos. And everything that we are experiencing, who we are, is cosmic. It's magical. It's power. And as we stand in it, we can see the magic occurring in our life, world, and affairs. Many years ago, I was introduced to a book entitled The Imprisoned Splendor by Robert Wasner. If you don't have this book, I encourage you to get it. Some of you might be familiar with Robert. I believe he served at Windward Unity as the minister years ago. The book is entitled The Imprisoned Splendor, Discovering Your Spiritual Self. And in this book, he talks about that the wonder and bliss of the universe is often imprisoned by the individual by means of their very own limited thinking. The limited thinking imprisons the splendor and puts the wonder asleep in our life, world, and affairs. He says, but there's a sure way to release this imprisoned splendor and to awaken the wonder. Anybody curious to know how? Yes. I'm glad you do. I'm happy to tell you. He says the way that we can release the imprisoned splendor, awaken the wonder, is by working with and activating the universal law, the universal principle of consciousness. And this is best summed up in the words of the master teacher in the very prayer that we prayed earlier. It says that forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. The Aramaic linguist suggests that what Jesus was actually saying that aligns with the spiritual law of consciousness was that thou hast forgiven my debts as I have been willing to forgive the debts of others. So the universal law or principle of consciousness that will help us to awaken the wonder of life says that we can only have and experience that which we are willing to be and become. In other words, Mahatma Gandhi says that we must be willing to be what? the change that we desire to see in the world. So if we desire to see more wonder showing up, baby, it's time to start being wonder. You got to be it. Be wonder. And as we are it, it's going to show up wherever you go. Remember, you take you with you wherever you go. The wonder that you are here in Hawaii is so interesting. Reverend Bishop Pearson said a few weeks ago that there are many escapists here on the island. People escaping the mainland from other places, trying to get away from stuff of, family, friends, relationships, stuff. And you get here and find yourself in similar situations because you take you with you wherever you go. You take the consciousness with you. The consciousness that created it then, and if it has not changed, will be the same consciousness that recreates the situation today. So the universal principle of consciousness says that we can change the world. We can awaken the wonder if we're willing to be it. Willing. So I have two questions for you. When was the last time that you were so awestruck with wonder, that you were dumbfounded and overwhelmed with wonder that you had no words? It was so wonderful. No words. W-O-R-D-S. Life was so wonderful. The experience was so wonderful, you just didn't have any words to describe it. Now, I don't see any head nodding. If you haven't had, be honest, tell the truth and stay in church. How many of you could use some of those moments, more of those moments, where it's so wonderful that all you can say is, wow. Wow. Look at God. The question, when was the last time that you were so full of and filled with the feeling of wonder that you just had to tell somebody? You couldn't keep it to yourself. Life is supposed to be that way. We're supposed to live in this place of wonder, friends. But if we feed into and capitulate to the images and the message that we receive outside of us, we would think differently. There are three ways that I would like to offer that we can awaken the wonder in our lives. And there are many who are so asleepwalking in their lives. You've seen them, like the movie The Dead Walking. There's a sleepwalking too. And some might be walking around here in this chapel this morning, sleepwalking through life. Like, wasn't it, you might recall the story that was penned by, Washington Irving, entitled Rip Van Winkle? You remember the story? You never heard the story, Rip Van Winkle, the Dutch-American villager who lived around the time of the American Revolutionary War. He lived in a village at the foot of the New York's Catskill Mountain. It says that one day, he got so fed up with his wife's nagging. She just nagged. He was so fed up that Rip decided to get his dog named Wolf and go to the top of the mountain. Said he got to the top of the mountain, and there he encountered some bearded men, and they were having themselves a good time and offered Rip something to drink. Said Rip started drinking. Didn't realize he was drinking moonshine. And he fell into a stupor. He fell asleep. And when he awoke, his beard had grown a foot long. And he slept for 20 years, asleep during life, where things had changed. Life had changed. And finally, when he awoke, he realized that those years in his life had passed him by. There is a way to awaken this wonder, friends. And the first way is through fascination. Getting fascinated with wonder. I know there's a lot of things that people are fascinated with today. I was on the mainland and you could hear their fascination. It was in their conversation. You can tell what they're fascinated by. That's all they talked about. They talked about it. They shared in with Fox and CNN and ABC and CBS. All they talked about. They were so fascinated with the political climate of our nation. Fascinated with it. That's all they could talk about. Fascination. The feeling of intense interest in something. And I love what Reverend Ike says, the Reverend Frederick Eichenkoder. He says, that which holds our interest holds our destiny. And whatever you become fascinated in, that energy gets to working in your life. And through fascination, that we're able to awaken the wonder. Fascination, becoming interested in the wonders, the true wonders of life, the wonder of unity, the wonder of love, the wonder of community, the wonder of health, the wonder of peace. Getting fascinated in that way. I witnessed my niece and my nephew, 4 and 5, and they were out playing in the yard one day in their playpen. It's like a park, really, just a whole playground. I'm like, wow. Now y'all have this in my mother's yard. I'm like, we had to go swing on vines. And some of you know what I'm talking about. Had to go play in the mud puddles and, and they got slides and swings and they got cars and these things and all of these things. And so I was watching my niece and my nephew out playing in the playpen. And they were just so fascinated. They were looking at the stones and the pebbles. And I'm just observing. I'm like, what are they looking at? What has captured their imagination? And I was fascinated by their fascination. So my fascination had me fascinating, and I walked down to see what they were fascinated about. And I looked at them just playing with the pebbles and having such fun and building pebble castles and having little pebble cars and just having such a wonderful time. And their fascination became contagious. And I decided to take a seat there in the whole playpen too. And I got so fascinated, I started playing with the pebbles. And my siblings, my mother, all looking like, what in the world has happened to Jack in Hawaii? That he's sitting around here playing in the playpen with this 4 and 5 year of age with pebbles, with stones, with rocks. You know what happened? The wonder was awakened through fascination, interested in living, not just existing. And as the master teacher told Nicodemus, until you are able to come as a child in childlike curiosity, you will never enter the kingdom of God. The second way that we can awaken the wonder is through focus. Being so sure-footed and single vision in what we're looking at. Keeping all of the other stuff out of our purview, out of the vision. If it's not what you want, don't even look at it. Look the other way. Give it the hand. Do like this if you have to. Or cancel it. Because whatever you energize lives in your life. And you give it the energy. Your attention is the energy and the oxygen for the stuff to live in our lives. The third way. It might sound a bit blasphemous, but I promise you it will work. We can awaken the wonder through fascination, through focus, and through fun. F-U-N. I know some of you haven't had it in so long you don't even know what it is. Through fun. Through fun. We can awaken the wonder through fun. Fun stirs up the energy. It gets the excitement. You activate the law of attraction. You're excited. Fun, enjoyment, amusement, that lighthearted pleasure, fun, activating, having fun in life awakens the wonders of the universe. A few months ago when we were in Australia, we had this day that we called Play Day. You know, people become serious. As adults have lost the wonder because they've forgotten how to have fun. You know, it's too serious. I'm done with serious people. If you're serious, don't come to me. Stay away from me. You see, when you make up your mind that this is no practice run. You only go around one time in this life, and this is no practice. Make your decision that if the people that you're with are not fun people, change your associations. There's no disrespect. I love you, but I'm going to have to love you at a distance. I'm intentional about living this life and enjoying this life while I'm yet here. And if you want to be in my circle, you need to start having some fun or get fun. So we had this play day in Australia. The adults forgot how to have fun. We decided to have all of these games, play all of these games that we played as children, you know, to give the inner child an opportunity to enjoy again because it's been so oppressed and suppressed. You know, name some of those childhood games that we used to play. Hopscotch, jump rope, kickball, marbles, tag, hide and seek, all of those things. So we started water balloons. We started playing all of these games to allow the inner child to have fun again. And then not only that, we got all of the foods, you know, like your favorite childhood foods, like name some. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and rice, popcorn balls, ice cream, Rice Krispie treats. I used to love those chocolate oatmeal cookies and chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, how are you going to forget that? Chocolate chip cookies. And so we had all of these treats, and they had this one treat. It's unique for Australia. I didn't know about it. It's called angel bread. I think it's fairy bread. Fairy bread. So you take a slice of bread and you put either margarine or butter on it. You sprinkle all of those different, the sprinkles candy on it. And so you just saw all of the adults just having so much fun. And you know what happened? It created a kind of energy, a vortex there in that space where we were. Everybody felt safe. Nobody felt judged. And we just had ourselves a good old time. If you want to awaken the wonder in your life, get fascinated about living. Get focused on living and decide, choose ye this day that you're going to have some fun. Forget about all the worries. Let somebody else worry about the worries. Let somebody else worry about, you let them worry about it, but you make the decision to have yourself some fun. God bless.
Matata, hakuna, matata, hakuna, matata, hakuna. It means no worries for the rest of your day. Sing along with us. It's our problem-free philosophy. Have some fun. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna matata. Hakuna. It means no worries for the rest of your days. I don't hear ya.
It's our problem-free
philosophy. Hakuna matata.